Every empire swears that its money is safe. Every government insists that its promises will last forever. And every time, history proves them wrong. From Rome to France, from the Confederacy to modern Lebanon, people have woken up to find their savings worthless, their wages meaningless, and their future stolen by systems they thought were stable. Collapse isn't the exception, it's the rule. The real question isn't if financial systems fail, it's how you protect yourself when they do. The illusion of permanence is the most dangerous economic mistake of all. We look at our bank balances, our national currencies, and assume they're the foundation. But money isn't the foundation, trust is. And trust can vanish overnight. That's why history, brutal as it is, remains our best teacher. Every collapse leaves a trail of lessons, patterns, and warnings, showing us what truly preserves wealth and what turns to dust. If you pay attention, you'll see the survivors of these collapses weren't the most loyal. They were the first to doubt. Take the Byzantine Empire, remembered as the eastern half of Rome that somehow lasted 1,000 years longer. At the core of its economy was the gold solidus, a coin so reliable that merchants across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia accepted it without hesitation. For centuries, it was the closest thing the medieval world had to a global reserve currency. But here's the part seasoned viewers will appreciate. You'd think they would have learned from Rome's disaster with the silver denarius, which emperors debased until it was basically tin washed with silver. But centuries later, the Byzantines repeated the same mistake, this time with gold. They began to shave its purity, thin it out, mix in cheaper metals. At first, no one noticed. Then confidence cracked. The coin that once anchored Mediterranean trade became just another political illusion. Its credibility collapsed, and with it, the Byzantine economy. What survived? Not paper promises, not government decrees. The merchants who quietly stored real gold or land outside the empire preserved their wealth while everyone else watched theirs disappear. Lesson 1. Governments can't resist debasing their money, and when they do, real value flees to assets they can't fake. But not every collapse comes from rulers tampering with coin. Sometimes, disaster strikes from nowhere. In the 14th century, the Black Death killed nearly half of Europe's population. Cities emptied, villages vanished, trade routes broke. Yet the economic story wasn't just catastrophe. With half the workforce gone, labor became precious. Survivors could demand higher wages. Land and food that were once scarce became abundant. Families with silver, goods, or even just the ability to work suddenly had leverage like never before. Sound familiar? It should. During COVID, supply chains collapsed, governments printed trillions to keep the machine alive, and inequality surged. Those with liquidity bought assets. Those living paycheck to paycheck fell behind. House prices soared. Stock markets recovered. The rhyme was unmistakable. Pandemics always redistribute wealth. The lesson: crises reward those with reserves and punish those without. Meanwhile, Renaissance Florence shows us another truth. Institutions too big to fail can fall overnight. In the 1340s, Florence was Europe's financial capital, home to banking giants like the Bardi and Peruzzi family. They lent vast sums to kings disastrously, to England's Edward III. When he defaulted, the banks collapsed. Depositors were ruined, trade froze. A once mighty city was thrown into chaos. The ordinary citizens who trusted too big to fail learned the ancient truth: size isn't safety, and reputation isn't protection. From Florence's crash to Lehman Brothers in 2008 to Lebanon's frozen accounts in 2019, the pattern never changes. Institutions exist to profit, not to guarantee your survival. America learned that the hard way too. Behind the Civil War's politics and battles was a financial war. The Union printed greenbacks, paper money backed only by trust. The Confederacy printed graybacks. Both inflated until their value evaporated. Confederate families carried bags of bills that couldn't buy bread. The survivors weren't those who held patriotic paper. They were the ones who held real things: land, food, gold. France learned the same in the 1790s when revolutionaries printed assignats backed by confiscated church land. Paper flooded the economy, prices soared, wages collapsed. Soon, no one wanted paper, only goods or silver. The revolution devoured itself. Fast forward to 1997. The Asian financial crisis began as a bet against the Thai baht and exploded across the region. Currencies crashed, debts doubled, economies shrank. The people who suffered weren't hedge funds, they were ordinary citizens. And again, the survivors were those with real assets or foreign currency, not those trapped in collapsing systems. The same pattern echoes everywhere. Paper money collapses, debt enslaved, and those who survive are the ones who understand the system's fragility before it cracked. In Lebanon, people woke up to find their accounts frozen. Their lifetime savings had turned into pocket change. Banks had locked the doors, and the middle class was wiped out overnight. The lesson was brutal but clear. Your money in the bank isn't treasure, it's a loan you've made to an institution that may not pay you back. So how do you protect yourself when everything falls apart? History offers clues. In Byzantium, gold. After the Black Death, liquidity to buy abandoned land. In Florence, distrust of giant banks. In the Confederacy, hard goods. In France, food and property. In Asia, avoiding debt in foreign money. In Lebanon, getting out before the door's locked. The patterns shift, but the theme is constant. Survival comes not from blind faith, but from understanding what holds real value when illusions collapse. And here's the paradox: collapse is both tragedy and opportunity. For the unprepared, it's ruin. For the resilient, it's a chance to acquire wealth at a fraction of its cost. After the Black Death, peasants became landowners. After 2008, those with cash bought homes as millions were foreclosed. Protection isn't just defense, it's positioning. But wealth isn't only what you own, it's what you can do. That's the ultimate.